Hi everyone, and welcome to a new day 365, my channel on addiction, relapse and recovery. Happy to say I'm still in the recovery stage of my addiction, and things are getting much better all the time. Actually, I'm 90 days sober today. That's right, 90 days, no hypes, pipes, booze, or pills. 100% clean, and you know, it's quite a miracle in itself. Oh man, what a ride I had though, right? Like, it was when I was actively using crystal, like it was impossible to get even more than a week sober, you know, and now I've strung together 90 days. I'm still in the treatment center. I've got 17 days left, and actually my exit date is June 20th. That'll be 90 days in recovery. That time I'll have what, like 107 days of complete abstinence. I've learned a lot, picked up a lot of tools since I've been here. I've refreshed a lot of things I've refreshed those knowledge I've already gained in years past. But I've been able to live by a certain moral code since entering treatment this time. Yeah, 90 days. That's something to be proud of, man. Like, you know, I haven't been 90 days abstinent in a long time, right? I had a 1.5 year sobriety before my last relapse, and my last relapse lasted like a year, right? And it was, what a year it was, right? I lost everything because of my drug use and my just the person I had become in that addiction. It's true what they say, that addiction is a progressive disease that only gets worse, right? It never gets better. You can't turn a pickle back into a cucumber. And once I've crossed that line of being a drug addict or alcoholic, I can never go back to being a normal drinker or recreational user, right? I'm a fully in kind of guy, you know. It's all or nothing for me, and just trying to keep those things at the forefront of my mind, right? I'm currently working a step 4 through the NA step guide, and I've only started that process, right? I started it, I think, last week, and then I've left it alone since then. Even though it does recommend, once started, to just get into it and do it, I've gotten lazy. But I'm keeping busy in so many other ways. Like, I've got assignments and work to do at the treatment center itself. You know, I'm reading my third novel, I think, since I've been here. I'm going on daily walks. I walk a minimum of 20K a day. I'm trying to have that conscious contact with God in my mind, and not get wrapped up in other people's drama and old negative behaviors that used to run my life, right? Negative behaviors and attitudes. I'm trying to live that step 3 every day, made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand Him, right? And that's not always easy, but when the situations arise, you know, it's what I do is I'll pray to God, usually in my head or whatever, and just ask for guidance and direction, like, you know, patience. And I said it before, like, stop being reactive and wait and think things through, let the answer come to me, and then respond in a mature and healthy way. One of the biggest ways I practice that is with my kid's mother, right? I can never just react to anything that's said to me, or to faulty beliefs that I might have. I need to think things through, let them be for now, and just come back to them later when I have a more responsible and productive solution to whatever may be going on in that moment. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Anyways, I think I've spewed enough. I just want to read these daily reflections on a new day, because like I said in one of my previous videos, is that I don't often read them. I don't read them at all, actually, unless I'm making a video. And being a new milestone in my recovery, 90 days, I want to hear what they have to say. Today is June 3rd. And from a new day. The actions of men are like the index of a book. They point out what is most remarkable in them. Heinrich Heine. I used to think that if only I could be smarter, more successful, or richer, I would most certainly be happier. Because of those misguided aspirations, the people I looked up to were the ones with money, property, and prestige. Now that my values and attitudes have changed, the people I admire most include those who unobtrusively go about helping others. By watching the ways in which they reach out, the manner in which they share their experience, strength, and hope, I now understand what is meant by the expression, God works through people. That understanding has come to mean a great deal, for it is often difficult for me to know God's will. I've learned that I really can't go wrong, however, if I think of myself as a channel for His work, taking action to help others as I have been helped. When I humbly reach out to another person with an offer of assistance, a word of encouragement, a compliment, or simply a warm smile, I find I'm the one who benefits most. Thought for today, God works through people. And then we have daily reflections. On a wing and a prayer. We then look at step 6. We have emphasized willingness as being indispensable. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 76. Steps 4 and 5 were difficult, but worthwhile. Now I was stuck on step 6, and in despair, I picked up the big book and read this passage. I was outside praying for willingness when I raised my eyes and saw a huge bird rising in the sky. I watched it suddenly give itself up to the powerful air currents of the mountains. Swept along, swooping and soaring, the bird did things seemingly impossible for mortal birds to do. It was an inspiring example of a fellow creature letting go to a power greater than itself. I realized that if the bird took back his will and tried to fly with less trust on its power alone, it would spoil its apparent free flight. That insight granted me the willingness to pray the 7-step prayer. It's not easy to know God's will in each circumstance. I must search out and be ready for the currents, and that's where prayer and meditation help. Because I am, of myself, nothing, I ask God to grant me the knowledge of His will and the power and courage to carry that out today. What? It's not easy to know God's will in each circumstance. I must search out and be ready for the currents, and that's where prayer and meditation help. Because I am, of myself, nothing, I ask God to grant me the knowledge of His will and the power and courage to carry it out today, because I am nothing of myself. Yeah, I have no thoughts on those 2 readings. I am nothing of myself. Of my own accord, when I take back my power and just live the way Jim wants to live, then I'm destined for failure and just negative experiences. When I let go and let God, when I try to live by His will, life gets a little easier and a little better. My relationships improve, and I stop acting out of self-serving desires and needs and wants. Anyways, I realize I know only a little. I'm still growing, I'm still learning. But I'm grateful for today, and I'm grateful for anyone who watched this, and I hope you all have a blessed day. I love you. Take care of yourselves.